Good to see you, everyone. My name is Robbie Howell.
And I'm Lee Haber.
Last time we generated Lee's life, he made his choice, and so we're going to be starting out on Chapter 1. Lee will be playing Pyle, one of a species of giants called the Ringbeards, a young noble possessed of a mysterious celestial magic that has in his past led to his inadvertent injury and murder of some around him. You come to your senses on the edge of a precipice without bottom. In front of you, spreading out like an endless carpet, are roiling clouds of purple and red and orange. In the distance, you see a beautiful miasma of stars smattered across a black daytime sky. What would you like to do?
First thing I'm gonna do is sort of look at my hands,
Huge.
give a feel. They're
Shovel-like almost, with fat, broad fingers and gigantic basketball player palms. In your body, they feel nimble and quick and capable.
in that case, I'm gonna check my body.
As you
Give
look
it
down,
touch.
you're greeted with a face full of hair. The beard that bursts from your neck is so voluminous and bristly that it almost completely cuts off the view of your feet and lower body, save for your large belly.
Okay, I've got a body. This is good. I have a cool beard. This is also good.
You hear, like the wind is talking to you.
Beautiful, isn't it?
That's definitely a little jump. Don't think I was expecting anyone. I will sort of look around. I will respond with a little confused, but definitely still responding with a magnificent.
Your voice is rich and deep, a fine baritone fit for a gospel choir.
In that case, I'd like to recall where I am because I know, but this body knows where it is.
Yes,
I'd
it
hope.
does. As you recall, you feel a sinking sensation within your chest. Dark clouds pass across your memory as you remember a face roaring at you in justified rage. You remember horrific guilt, and you remember contemplating hurling yourself into the abyss below. You hear again in your ear.
Runs in the family, doesn't it?
Does this body know this voice?
This body has never heard this voice before in its life and has never heard a voice in its mind before.
Speaking aloud, say, what does that mean?
Sullen silence, and the wind rises again. This time you hear a different voice. Distant, keening, almost whiny. You hear the voice again. This time it's closer.
Young master! Young master, please!
You can see a quadrupedal figure that you recognize. Normally it would be bipedal. It's wearing fine clothing. It's slinky, orange dappled with black, reptilian in nature. Big expressive eyes that are currently scanning the horizon frantically.
I will step out then.
As you step out, the creature whips its head towards you.
Oh, thank goodness! I could never have lived with myself if something had happened to you.
There's definitely been some upset. Do I recall why I ran?
Yes, absolutely. A crime. A heinous crime. You can see the face, the powerful, proud face of a much older ringbeard than you. You remember you said something, and you remember seeing his body crumble away to nothing as though it were made of glass. It's a blur besides that, but the details are starting to come back.
That's enough details to work with. Do I recall this being's name that is in
Yes,
front of me?
Minkus. He is your butler.
I will say in not my voice, but my voice. Nothing's happened to me yet, but I don't know what to do.
I understand. Well, I don't understand. I wish I understood. I wish I could help in some possible way, but these are ringbeard matters. The indiscretion you occasionally show with your secretive gifts parallels on idiocy at times. I'm sorry, I should not scold you. You have been scolded enough. Please forgive me.
You were forgiven.
Perhaps we can return? Your father has indicated to me that he would be willing to speak with you now. It's taken several days to convince him.
Is it safe for me to return? Is it safe for others for me to return?
Yes, well...
I could not tell you now what led to what happened. I'm gonna take one more look at that precipice.
The voice comes back.
Death can wait.
Okay then, this is acceptable. Take a nice look, because it is very beautiful. And sort of turn back to Minkus and go, let us return. I will not speak it, or even mouth it, but I would like to recall what the actual word I said after was.
You don't know where the word came from, but you remember what it sounded like. Ma. Nothing more or less than that.
And then he began to effectively shatter into particulates.
In his particular case, he fell to glass, notable because he was made of glass. You see, ringbeards build their offspring from inanimate materials. You were built of wood. Iburi was made from glass, and so he effectively reverted to what he had originally been, dying instantly. As you walk with Minkus, you get a much better picture of the locale. A small walled township, many dwellings beyond it, as well as tree farms and great quarries and a mine not too far off, and a huge astrolabe that you remember the final stone being put into. The architecture of Ringbeard society blooms out in front of you. Their buildings are fine and huge, with a simple and functional nature, and also well integrated into the ruins upon which you know this fief to have been built. In the middle of town, there is a long needle-like spire with a gigantic orb perched at the top. Your father's keep is built pretty much directly underneath it.
I like that thing. That's a cool thing.
A quick turn here, a staircase there. You find yourself in a small, well-lit room. It contains your father, massive and broad-shouldered, hunched over a heavy stone table. You see a small kind of dinner plate Kirby thing serenely bouncing to and fro next to the door with what looks like a little gong in its hand. They're called inglibi, or at least that's what ringbeards call them. You've never known one to ever express displeasure, and they are extremely obedient, even if they can only talk in indecipherable chiming.
And you said gravity sort of doesn't affect them.
Yeah, whenever they walk or hop, it's almost like they take 4 or 5 times longer to touch back down.
And what was the name? What's the name of the race of the skink-like things?
Fisk.
Gotcha. Fisk.
As you enter into the room, Minkus comes to a smart halt, gives a little...
Master Sir Nuno, I have returned alongside your fine Hewling. He wishes to speak to you.
Internally, I think, didn't he say that dad wanted to speak to me?
Indeed.
But I'd also know how to refer to him, not as father, but as Hewer.
Hewer,
Okay.
exactly.
I appreciate you doing so, Minkus. You are dismissed.
Yes, Master.
And as he goes to scuttle away, he, grits out to you,
Please keep your head.
The Englibi continues to hop ambiently next to you, looking happy with itself.
I love these. I want to throw one. I want to just...
And where were you skulking?
By the Heaven Towers. They help calm me.
And
Or no,
has
they-
your contemplation brought you to any beneficial conclusions?
Other than that, I've made a grave error. No.
An error.
I can't go as deep as he can, but his voice goes so low you feel the ground vibrate.
An error indeed. What possibly could have possessed you to unleash your talents in this way? To kill with them? One of my dearest friends, no less. I am ashamed to have hewn you, Pyle.
I didn't try to. It just happened.
He stands. You hear his bones cracking as he does so.
Do I know what he's made of?
Yes. Your father is made of metal, and a fine metal at that.
His oxbrown even now mourns him. You must beg their forgiveness and accept what they demand of you. I do not want this to evolve into a feud.
You hear him creaking as he sits back down, and a little grunt as he finishes.
I will throw my braids over my shoulder and make my way out.
As you walk outside, you can see Minkus inexpertly hiding himself behind a tapestry a little ways down the corridor.
I will pretend not to notice.
Young master, was there success found? Did you keep your head? Was he very angry or slightly less angry?
My head's still with me.
That is a plus. But for how long?
I don't know, Minkus. I don't know what's happening. There's a lot of unsureness in the future, and a lot that I'm going to have to deal with that I don't think I'm ready for.
Did your father invite you to dinner?
No. I think that might be the least of my worries right now.
On that note, I think we're going to end the chapter for today. Before we sign off, I'd love to hear kind of a summary of your thoughts.
You know, I'm gonna have to deal with some angry ringbeards without revealing that I am a danger to society. I'm going to have to find a way to pressure this voice in my head more. And other than that, I think because no one's going to try to teach me whatever this celestial tongue is, I'm going to have to teach myself. Minkus is weird. And the little what are they called
The
again?
Ingleby?
Yeah, the Igleeby. Oh, they're great. I want like 10 of them just in a room.
If you guys have enjoyed this episode, we'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. What sort of questions do you have about Lee's life? What ideas and suggestions might you have? We will also be linking a complete glossary for the things that have been discussed in this episode, as well as some other details about Lee's life in the description. As always, my name has been Robbie Howell.
My name is Lee Hobber.
And ciao for now, everyone.